I'm Tara, and this is Bossify.
This episode of Bossify is proudly brought to you by Janet Lawless Christ and Team Luxury Real Estate.
Always lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Bossify. Today, the one and only Tara. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Tara Mackey is the best-selling author of the book Cured by Nature, a soul singer, and global holistic beauty expert. She's the founder and CEO of The Organic Life, recognized as one of the healthiest companies of the year. Tara has also been honored as Woman of the Year and inspires people to make bold and brave moves, take actions to live their dreams, and create lives they only once imagined.
All right, my love. You are beautiful, by the way. I'm just loving the energy that you're giving us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, and so are you.
Thank you. I cannot wait to hear these answers, especially because of your story. First off, how do you personally define success?
I don't think that there's any success without emotional success. I really believe that it's feeling a peace inside that you bring into everything you do. And until you get there, it's not in wealth, it's not in things you accomplish, it's not in having a certain amount of money or being a certain kind of person. I think you can have all those things, but there's no success without peace of mind. So that's how I define it personally for myself.
And I can tell that's been a journey for you to be able to find that peace of mind. I know that definition of success then changes, obviously, over time. So tell me about that. How has that changed? What has the journey been like for you?
The journey's definitely been pretty crazy and pretty beautiful, I think.
As most lives should be.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, and I definitely wouldn't do anything different, but it's been pretty nuts. So I was, this time, 6 years ago, I was on 14 different medications, pharmaceutical medications, all prescribed to me that I'd been on, many of which for 11 plus years. So I came off them all cold turkey when I was 24, which was quite a different thing. It was basically all I had known for my health, for my wellness, for dealing with emotions, for dealing with pain, for dealing with anxiety, and I really didn't have any other coping mechanisms that I knew of. So for me, success changed constantly. Success was if I, wasn't nauseous in the morning because I got really bad withdrawal symptoms from coming off my medication. So success was being able to eat. Success was being able to get out of bed. Success was being able to connect and see a friend I hadn't been able to see for months because I was too sick.
Right.
So it really went from me focused on money and me focused on, fulfilling either a career path or something I'd gotten a degree in or something that someone else had told me was my future to
The day-to-day.
The day-to-day, defining it by the day-to-day, these little accomplishments that you do every single day that really end up becoming who you are.
So let's talk about who you are, because it's gorgeous.
Aw.
And the energy that you bring to your book, to your products, and then to anyone that gets the chance to meet you is really beautiful. And that journey of success and how you've defined that certainly defines who you are as a person as well. Talk about that. How has this new definition shaped this gorgeous person in front of me?
Oh, thank you. I think, very few people in the wellness community are in the wellness community because they were always well.
Right.
Many people are in the wellness community because they were sick, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the times we don't appreciate what we have until we lose it. We don't know what we have. And so we get to a place where we don't have it anymore or it's threatened for us, right? We see this a lot even now in our political climate, these things that we never thought would be taken away from us, or we wake up in the morning and we're not really sure what's happening anymore. So I think people are feeling this more than ever before in personal ways and also in larger ways that are happening in the world on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it's grown and changed and allowed me to be open and receptive and basically play guinea pig to my own health and wellness and see what worked for me so that I can then bring those tools and share them with other people, which has really been the greatest gift of all, and something I really never would have anticipated as something that made me so satisfied and feel so accomplished, you know.
It sounds like for you that by empowering others, you continue to empower yourself.
Yeah, and you learn more. I think the more people you help, the more you learn, and then the more they end up helping other people, and the more they teach you. And I mean, it's just been such a powerful way for me to learn. I feel like I learned more on my road trip out here than I learned, you know, in like 5 years of college. Not that I didn't learn anything in college, but that the experiences that I had when I decided to take my own path were completely unmatched to anything I had read in a book. You know, like there's two ways to experience things. You can either learn your own way, or you can learn from someone else's experience. And for me, I've learned a lot through my own life.
And it sounds like there's two themes I'm hearing here. Number one is that care, self-care, and that how much you care for yourself sort of cares for the world. And the more that you also then learn to care for others, they then care for you. You don't really need to really worry.
Yeah, once you bring that into your environment, people respond to it, and you won't put up with people that don't respond to it anymore. Once you start to change, nothing around you has to change. Like that's the larger message of my book. That's the larger message of my company and my blog and my mission is that if you change, nothing has to change. You don't have to change your bank account. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to, those things might happen and they might come naturally, but you don't have to do every step at once. If you just make small little changes every day, things around you will change, people will respond to it, and the world will change.
That's like the quote Dalai Lama says, like, if you want to change the world, just change yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's so true.
So true.
It's so true. So I know that you have built this new brand of you based on self-care and really self-intuition, but it's also based on challenges. I mean, to a degree that success is, hey, I can eat today.
Yeah.
That's a success.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's also gone through that, obviously I connected really strongly with your message because I know that feeling of like, I'm so grateful, body, that you were able to take this food, process it, and I'm okay. I'm not in pain.
Yep.
That's huge.
And to do something good with it. Like for me, you know, being on drugs for so many years, pharmaceutical drugs that I was prescribed, but drugs nonetheless, something I picked up at a drugstore and never realized was a drug that was affecting my body. And I had that background, so I was born on drugs. Both my biological parents were drug addicts. And I grew up in an environment where I was being raised by a single parent who was battling drug and alcohol addiction. So I thought that drugs had a certain name, and it wasn't drugs that came out of an orange bottle that hurt you. It was, you know, street drugs that hurt you. I never connected the two. So to really, when I stopped the drugs, I really got to sit back and understand the effects they were having on my body, the effects they were having on my nutrition, the effects they were having on my mind, the effects they were having on my vision. Like within the first few months of coming off my medication, I started to literally see things differently. Like colors became much more vivid and saturated, and because when you're just dulling your brain every single day with drugs, I mean, it's actually desaturating your vision, actually confusing your brain. You know,
I didn't need glasses anymore.
Yep, I don't need glasses anymore either. And it's the craziest thing. I had glasses since, 2 years after I started my first prescription medication.
Yeah, I was in like 5th grade, and then I just went back, and there you go.
Yeah.
So what is the greatest, you've had so many, what is the greatest challenge?
Oh, God.
Bless your heart, but what is the greatest challenge turned blessing?
Definitely my health challenge.
Yeah, I mean, though.
Yeah, definitely my health challenge, because I feel like everything else, yes, it was all challenging. You know, growing up in the environment that I grew up in, and even my grandparents adopted me when I was 7 and being adopted.
Oh, girl. I mean, challenge after challenge, but.
Yeah, and you know, I lost a lot of very good friends to suicide and overdoses and things like that. I mean, I didn't have it easy at any point, but I think partially that was kind of my circumstance and what I was born into, and part of it was what I was attracting, because I wasn't used to anything else. I had never been in an environment that wasn't chaotic and crazy and nuts. So definitely my biggest accomplishment for me personally has been, you know, overcoming my health struggle, because that really put into perspective why I had gone through the past 24 years before that. Because before I had that realization, it was a very self-loathing time where I would look back on the past and be like, oh, why me, you know, and those thoughts don't really take us anywhere,
No.
right? So
It's hard not to have them, but they
hard not to have them.
literally take you nowhere. They are a dead end.
Yep, they're a complete dead end. And I started to really realize that I had kind of done this to myself in a way. Like I had kind of, I'd been doing what doctors told me to do. I wasn't going against doctors' orders, but that doesn't mean that I was healing or helping myself. So
And the blessing of that now, look at how much you've been able to bring to yourself, the confidence, the vision that you have, and then also to all of us.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's honestly, to me, I can't say it enough, that really feels like the greatest gift is to either be able to give people hope or to be able to give people just the idea that there's another way. Like when I was withdrawing, I didn't know that there was no cured by nature out there, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I didn't know that either that this is a thing, that you could survive it, that it wasn't even my mission to come off all my drugs. My mission was to see what drugs I needed and what drugs I didn't need. And it was when I actually started to replace my drugs with like herbal remedies and food and meditation practices and mind strengthening techniques, kind of in the meantime until I figured out what I really needed and didn't need. It turned out those things actually did what the drugs had been promising that they were going to do the whole time. And I was, it was like a small miracle,
It was not small.
It was a large miracle.
It was a large miracle.
It was a
And
large
it's a miracle that you keep giving to others. And we just want to remind everybody that, the power that these women, all of us that stand here as a Bossify type woman, continue to give. And that's where we replenish this strength. And it's really beautiful. So I wonder, your 17-year-old self, this is the question we ask. What advice would you give her? Where was she? What was she like? And what would you want to tell her?
She was in her first year of college. She was engaged to somebody she's no longer with. I think as teenagers, we all are pretty self-loathing. We have at least a few of those moments, right? If we don't carry those around with us all the time, right? So I definitely, I could sit her down and tell her a lot of things, but I think the most important is that you're beautiful and you're not broken.
Oh.
Because
Can you say that again? Because there's a lot of 17-year-olds and a lot of 31-year-olds and a lot of 60-year-olds that need to hear that.
You're beautiful and you're not broken.
Yeah.
Because I was so convinced for so long that I was broken and that something was wrong with me and that I needed to take these pills and that, I wasn't enough to inspire anybody to change their life. It's easy to think that when your parents are drug addicts or alcoholics, right? Is that, they're not stopping because of me, and you kind of carry that throughout your life. And so, to be in a place where I know now what I'm able to do with my life, I would definitely remind 17-year-old me that she's not broken and she's beautiful and she's got a good message to give to people out there.
She does. She has a purpose. I love it. Okay, last thing. Oh, this is so fun. What is the one thing I don't know about you that I should? Something fun. What's the one thing about Tara? Fun little factoid.
Fun factoid. Well, I'm not vegan, which a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah. Big shocker, by the way. That's true.
It is. People are shocked that I'm not
think you
vegan.
probably like the kind. What's the thing? The people that like only eat the things that fall from the ground.
Oh,
even?
I don't know.
Like like there's like no, it's a true story. I'm not making this up. That like if there's like only the fruit has actually fallen from the tree and like given, then you'll even eat it. It's like a special kind of vegan. Anyway, everyone's Googling that right now while watching. Google it, Instagram, let me know what that's called. But that's what I would have thought you were.
No, so I'm not vegan, and I do drink occasionally. I have wine and champagne and gluten-free beer and stuff. So I'm not a square.
No.
I'm just healthy.
Thank you. She is human, people.
I'm human. I'm a human being.
Gluten-free beer, but the beer is still there.
Yeah.
Tara, you're wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Thank you for having this experience with all of us today and sharing and holding that space.
So much fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. And on that note, thanks for watching another episode of Bossify. Until next time, have a great day.
Now it's your turn to join the movement. Join the discussion on our Facebook page and see more episodes on our website at abbygibb.tv. Be bold, brilliant, brave. You are Bossify. This episode of Bossify was proudly sponsored by Janet Lawless Christ and Team Luxury Real Estate.